Well, good morning, everybody. It is NETSN bringing you Saturday baseball here in East Texas. This is Keith with Jason for NETSN. We're here in the Eagles Nest in Tatum, bringing you another exciting baseball matchup between the visiting Central Heights Blue Devils and the Tatum Eagles. Jason's here with me. Jason, what's going on, man?
Oh man, nothing much. Just trying to fight off the pollen at this point. But
Yeah, well, it's a lot beautiful. Last week we had a baseball game here in the Eagles Nest in Tatum, and we had to fight off some thunderstorms, tornadoes actually coming through. They got the game played, but I drove through Chapel Hill when the tornado was coming. I hope you got home before all that happened.
I made it home just before all that came through, so it worked out really good for me on that one.
Well, that's always a plus, and I'm glad that you got through there. Got a great game going on here. Was here last night with Jeremy D. He was with me last night for the Tatum Eagles hosting the Brook Hill Guard, and Tatum came home with a win on that one and doing some warm-up non-district games here before they go and play White Oak, finishing out the season and trying to get a playoff bid and a district championship bid here in Tatum.
Yeah, they got their last district games were against Troop, and they kind of got punched in the mouth. Tatum typically is not used to that, so these non-district warm-up games kind of get ready for the rest of the season. I think it'll be good for them, get back in that Tatum Eagle baseball like they know how to play, and hopefully get back in the win column in district.
Yeah, I had some little nagging injuries, nothing big, but trying to rest some guys and get some things going. But they're also trying to make sure that they don't get out of playing here and getting ready for closing out the season and getting ready for playoffs.
Yeah, I do think, it's pretty much a given they will make the playoffs. Question is seeding. Right now, they're tied with Troop in district for the lead. They have the same record. However, Troop does have the tiebreaker with the two head-to-head wins. So they're really fighting right now for just better seeding at this point. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the district shapes up with that big White Oak contest coming up.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens on that, and hopefully they'll be able to come out and beat White Oak next week, and hopefully put up a challenge. Be kind of nice to see maybe a not a playoff, but do they do? And I'm not sure. I've done this a couple of years. Do they do what is it called? A seeding games? I know basketball sometimes does it where they play little runoff games before to see who gets what before the playoffs.
Generally, they will look at the record and go through all the tiebreakers. If there is a contested seeding place, then of course they will have a playoff for that position. Usually you see it at the 4 seed. Obviously, playoff implications on the line overall, but realistically for Tatum, they just have to win out in district at this point. Troop just beat White Oak last night, I believe. Davenport pitched a 2-hitter for Troop against White Oak, so Tatum's kind of against the wall. If they do make that 1 seed, they kind of have to win out and kind of hope for a little help from some of these other towns on White Oak.
Yeah, and Kanzler had a good job last night. Logan Kanzler pitched a complete game last night for Tatum, had 12 strikeouts against Brook Hill, which Brook Hill is not a slouch team. They're big hitters, they're a good team, solid team, undefeated in their district. They're looking for a playoff run on their side. So to come in, have 13 strikeouts, do a complete game, almost a shutout. Brook Hill really didn't get on the board until late into the game. I think the top of the 6th is when they finally got a run across, and so Kanzler did a good job. So the pitching on Tatum's side is also looking good as well as on Troop's side. So it's going to be an interesting end of the district season to see who's going to take that top spot in the district.
Exactly, and I think that depth of pitching is important as you go into these playoffs, because you can have the best starters in the world, but everybody has an off game. You want that reliever that can come in if your starter's faltering and be able to go 4 or 5 innings and give you quality pitching. So that's a big thing. Tatum really does have some great depth in at the pitching competition. See how it works out for them towards the end.
Yeah, and so looking at that, the coaches are meeting at home plate now with the umpires. Going to have a little conversation, exchange lineup, with each other, and then we'll get things started here momentarily. This game was originally scheduled for 2 o'clock, and yesterday afternoon we got notification that time had changed. Do not know why it got changed, nor do we really ask why. We just go where we're told and say yes sir and get here and do what we have to do to make sure that we get things up and going for the broadcast. And we're excited that you're with us. Glad that you are watching. And if you would like to, we do have a chat option that we would love for you to take advantage of during the game. Go ahead and chat with us. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and then we'll have some questions. Questions during the game. We had one last night, and Jason, I'll ask it to you. Jeremy D posed a question of what would your walk-up song be if you were playing baseball right now? What would your walk-up song up to the plate be? If you're batting, or even if you're a pitcher, if you're coming in to relief, what would your walk-up song be?
That's a really good question. I'm trying to think. I would say if you played the first 5 seconds of the song Gorilla, and usually that's the creaking noise and the slow walk, because that's about all I can do on the field at this point.
Right, slow walk. Yeah, I don't run anything but a fever in my mouth, and so I actually chose "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" as my walk-up song, and Jeremy had a couple. He had a Seven Nation Army was one, and I don't remember the other one he had, but he had a couple of good ones. And the reason we were talking about that is the music here at the Eagles Nest is very good. We have a good announcer here, and they play really good music, and so we were jamming and rocking out, and everybody here was singing and having a good time. So it's a good time had by all here at Eagle Field or Eagle Nest here for the Tatum Eagles. Hands are being shaken, things are getting going, and it is time for the lineups. We're going to go to the field and let you look at that. We will return at the start of the game. Glad that you're with us.
Tatum. Welcome to today's matchup between the Centralized Blue Devils and your Tatum Eagles.
Let's go Eagles!
First introducing the visiting team, leading off and catching, number 3, Brady Owen. Batting second and playing left field, number 6, Logan Baker. Batting third and playing third base, number 12, Gardner Rodriguez. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 18, Luke Williamson. Batting fifth and playing second base, number 17, Bo Bryant. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, number 2, Trapper Murdoch. Batting seventh and playing first base, number 8, Damian Ramirez. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 9, Dane Sutherland. Batting ninth and playing center field, number 15, Cade Masora. Rounding out the roster, Trey Denwell, Brandon Davis, and David Quiones. Head coach of Central Heights, Travis Jackson. His assistant coaches, Tyler Torres and Peyton Lee. And now, the starting lineup for your Tatum Eagles. Leading off and playing center field, number 2, Grant Adcock. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 21, Cooper Whitus. Batting third and catching, number 7, Jackson Prince. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 11, Cole Bullard. Batting fifth and playing second base, number 22, Cody Hines. Batting sixth and playing left field, number 8, Dustin Hennigan. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 12, Tristan Berry. Batting eighth, your pitcher, number 16, Caden Tatum. Batting ninth and playing first base, number 10, Cannon Smith. And defensively for the Eagles, right field, number 25, Aiden Courtney. Rounding out your Eagle roster, Brody Downs, Logan Tovar, Tucker Anthony, Logan Kanzler, Landon Britton, Aldo Espinoza, and Jake Tiger. Team managers Corey Bradley, head coach of your Eagles, Justin Russell, his assistant coaches, Dusty Weaver, and Adam Tuttleville. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and gentlemen remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Say play ball once that beautiful national anthem is done, and we're gonna get things started. On the mound for Tatum is Caden Tatum, and looking forward to seeing him play and getting things started here for the game. Turn that down loud. Music's pretty loud here, and it usually is for Tatum. So what are we expecting this game, Jason?
I expect Tatum to come out swinging the bats. Central Heights, I haven't seen them play in a year or so, but they're usually very aggressive, very fundamental ball team. So I expect some really good baseball for this entire game from both teams.
Yeah, I think Central Heights, not a bad team themselves. They're 6-1 in district, 15-4 overall, and so there's no slouching. That's one thing I really like about the teams that Tatum is picking for quote-unquote warm-up games, and Central Heights as well. But they're not picking teams that are slouch teams or teams that are bad.
No, they're not picking confidence boosters at all. They are definitely picking people that will challenge them. Central Heights is historically been a team to make deep playoff runs, so this ought to be a really good game and a really good test for them too.
So the first batter is coming up. Yeah.
a leadoff catcher.
Right. Waiting for the music to kind of die down here. And here we go. Music's really loud today. So Brady Owens is going to step in. And Caden Tatum and the Eagles getting ready to go as we get this game started. First pitch is going to be high and outside for ball one.
Finish up that point on the leadoff catcher. Tell me you take care of your knees. Tell me you take care of your knees.
Right. Another one going to be outside, a little lower. Ball two. And here comes the pitch by Caden Tatum. So the first 3 pitches off the bat are going to be a ball, not the way you want to start the game. And he puts all 4 on the outside. So right off the tee, we get a duck on the pond.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to put your leadoff man on to start if you're the defensive team. But, and we got a pinch runner number 13, Trey Denwell, coming in for the catcher. Courtesy runner, excuse me. So now Tatum's just got to settle in.
And they're bringing in their outfield. They do this when they think there's a bunt. Logan Baker, number 6, is going to come in. And so bunt formation, so to speak. And, of course, squared around for the bunt. Gets it down to third base line. And get a little caught there. And a rundown. And got him at second base. A good little rundown, a good play.
So the sack, it will go as a sack bunt since he did establish second base, but he rounded way too far on that, got caught in the middle, and unfortunately, now we got an out for Central Hawks.
And it ends up being a double play for the Eagles, and a great job, great heads-up baseball play there by the Eagles. So now what you wanted for the Blue Devils, they started off really well, and Garner Rodriguez comes in and watches the first pitch go in there for a strike.
Yeah, and I think that's what Tatum needed, was just to get some good defense work in, settle down, and now Caden Tatum he's found the plate at least.
Right. It's low and inside for ball 2. Here's the windup. And the pitch by Tatum. Swung on and missed by Rodriguez.
Great bending pitch there. Just had him way out in front of it. Swung right over the top.
That's going to be low and outside. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a fly ball into right field. And he bobbles it, and Aiden Courtney having a rough time. And that's going to be an error. Yes, an error.
And he's going to kick himself on that one. He makes that play 99 out of 100 times. Maybe just caught up in the sun just a little bit, because this is a slightly different time frame that they're playing versus what they normally do.
So with 2 outs, designated hitter Luke Williamson will come in. He'll take the first pitch, swinging with a strike. And swings on that one for a strike as well. So with a runner on first, we have no balls and 2 strikes to Williamson.
Caden Tatum can basically take that error and just put it in the back pocket. If he can get out of this, nothing hurt.
Well, and that double play at the beginning didn't really hurt him at all, and did a really good job for him there. Here's the pitch by Caden. Swung on, miss, and Prince is going to have to make some cleaning up as it dropped down, and that's going to be a strikeout for out number 3. We're going to go to the bottom of the first, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back as you're watching Saturday high school baseball here on NETSN. Don't go anywhere. We are back for bottom of the first. Excuse me. Carter Christensen is the pitcher for Central Heights, and not a bad top of the first defensively for Caden Tatum and the Eagles.
No, not at all. You had the one error, but it took Tatum a little bit to find the strike zone. But when he did, his defense bailed him out. I say bailed him out. He did a good job pitching overall. Both runners close and got out of it with no damage. Just a great job telling his defense to start it off. Right here, no harm, no foul now.
So Grant Adcock is going to lead things off, as always, for the Eagles. He had a good night last night. He was hit by a pitch on his first at bat and did a really good job of bringing things around for the Eagles, and was a big part of their win last night. So looking forward to seeing how he's going to make things happen tonight.
Your idea of a good night, I don't know. I mean, a good night, he got hit by the ball.
Well, yeah, but he made it on base, and that's what you want. He'll step into the box, and we're ready to go for the first at-bats for the Eagles. Here's the pitch. It's going to be outside, and Owen, a little trouble getting that one. And it's going to be for ball one.
You know, most of his warm-up pitches that I saw, he was working towards the bottom of the zone. So if he can keep the ball down and keep these Tatum hitters from elevating the baseball, he might have a pretty good day.
Good pitch, good pop on that for a strike. So 1-1 now the count. The infield back towards the grass. Outfield grass, and that's going to be outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Adcock.
And right now, both pitchers seem to be wanting to work that outside corner.
And a good hit straight up the middle. It's going to go into the center field. And Masora is going to get it and bring it in, and a base hit.
Next up, that's your Eagles, number 21, Cooper White.
Adcock had a great inside-out pitch. Took that ball right back up the middle. His hands inside pretty quick. Did a great job hitting from Adcock.
So next up is Cooper Whitus.
Pretty off speed.
In there for a strike.
Check on the runner at first. There's nothing going at this point. Whitus had squared like he was going to sack him over.
Whitus squares for a bunt, pulls back in time for a ball. Here's the pitch. Squares around again there, but that is in there for a strike.
And I really think Whitus is just trying to see if he can see if the pitcher will throw a strike with the bunt in the zone. Now I think he's going to swing away.
Swung away for strike 3. And now number 1.
Now batting number 7.
And a good pitch by Christensen.
Here we go.
Catcher for Jackson Prince going to step in and throw over by Christensen just to make sure that Adcock stays where he is.
And Adcock has some speed. He definitely can take a base if he needs to or if he wants to. So that's a good thing to keep him close.
And Adcock's going to go, and he's taken down and caught stealing. And that's going to be 2 outs.
So both teams have had their leadoff runner taken off the base paths, either caught stealing or caught in a run down. Just down and away.
It's going to be ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. To Prince. He hits that one into center field. And Masora is there for out number 3. So all zeros on both sides. We're through 1. And we'll be right back to the Eagles Nest on Saturday High School Baseball on NETSN. Don't go anywhere. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a ball. Bo Bryant is stepping in.
Yeah, this umpire's been fairly consistent with the thought of his zone, and it is lower than that at this point.
Swung on and missed for a strike.
A little high on the breaking pitch. He didn't quite finish that one.
It's going to be a high fly ball into right field. And Aiden Courtney comes in for the out.
It sounded a lot better off the bat. Really thought it was going to go a little deeper than what it did. Almost ended up in that no man's land. But Courtney made a good break on the ball, read it really well, got over there for the out.
Trapper Murdoch is going to come in. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for a strike. And a little outside, says the umpire. So that goes to 1-1. Going to go straight up the middle, and Tatum is there, and he just grabs it and chunks it over to first base.
Great PFP.
And that'll bring up next Damian Ramirez for the Blue Devils. And it's going to be a fly ball out of play. Caden with the pitch.
Bounce just a little in front of the plate.
Here's the pitch. Outside. So 2-1 now the count to Ramirez. That's going to bounce in. And a fly ball into left field. Going to be out. So we are through 1.5. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. Cole Bullard's going to be stepping in and taking things over. In the bottom of the second. Want to apologize. We had a little audio issue earlier, but I think we got that fixed. And so we appreciate your understanding on that. Here's the first pitch by Christensen, and that's going to be in there for a ball as we are starting the bottom of the second.
Yeah, it might be good if they couldn't hear me. I mean, I'm just over here fighting pollen at this point.
Well, I have to listen to you anyway. You're in my head. You got a hit by pitch by Bullard. He's going to take a nice little stroll down to first base. So another duck on the pond.
Now batting number 22, Cody Hines.
So, yeah, we haven't had many base runners so far in this game. I mean, so base running at a premium. Tatum needs to take advantage of it. Hines needs to get him over into scoring position, preferably with a single, but, you know, a sacrifice would work here too. Just depends on whatever coach has drawn up for him.
And that's going to be fouled backwards.
So he's thinking single.
Yeah, that was a good cut by Hines. Hines got a little speed out of that too. So usually they sometimes try to get him to bunt.
Yeah. Usually and I don't know what it is, but second basemen usually are really good at doing the technical thing. So Hines is no different. As I say, that hits into a 6-4-3
double play and knocks that out. Not what he wanted to do, but what he ended up doing. So Dustin Hennigan is going to step in.
You know, maybe I just need to quit. I need to quit bragging.
You got the announcer.
Yeah, I got the jinx going.
Jinx
right
going
now.
as Christensen hit the windup. Fouled back by Hennigan.
I mean, it's hard to really be neutral, or if I got a jinx going the opposite direction, because I'm liable to get strangled by half the fans up here. So I'm just gonna.
That's going to be a hit over to the third baseman, not in time, as Garner Rodriguez does stop it from going to the outfield, but when he tried to get it over to first base, just couldn't quite get it.
For Jaron Peoples, I'm going to call that the Jaron Peoples E5.
And speaking of third baseman, here comes Tristan Berry, who actually had the night off last night. He did not play, so I'm sure he's itching to get a bat on the ball here. And Hennigan thought about going.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the pitcher's head. That is for sure. Pitcher, anytime you got people yelling it, I mean, you can say it doesn't bother you, but you notice it. So good job by Hennigan to draw a little bit of attention.
Pitch on the outside. That's going to be ball two. Trying to get Barry to go fishing. Didn't quite get him.
Barry's usually a pretty disciplined hitter, so if you bring it over the plate, though, he will make you pay. He does have some good power. A little rested, too, now that he did have that day off yesterday. So,
And it looks like he's going a good hit into left center field and a base hit. We'll put two on and a good hit by Barry, as that rest did do him some good.
See, hey, I said something, and nothing bad happened.
And pitcher's going to head in. Caden Tatum's going to head to the box.
Oh, if you're on the mound, you want to call at least 340 to left or 340 to right. He ought to just call his shot at this point.
So Christensen looking in. Now he's got two on. And we'll see what Tatum's going to do. Here's the pitch. Going to be low bouncing. And the runners are going to go. And they're going to get there in time. So now two runners in scoring position.
And that was great directional sliding by Hennigan. He knew where the throw was coming in, went to the outside of the base, just stuck his hand out and was able to stay away from that tag. Great job.
From the stretch, Christensen with the pitch. Inside corner for the strike. 1-1 the count. 2 out, 2 on. Tatum looking for a run here. Base hit will score at least one. Probably two. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for a strike as that one fell off the table there, Jason.
Yeah.
Just kind of dropped right off.
It looked really nice, not in his ideal spot, but it was too good to pass up, and it just dropped off the table on that outside.
And the Eagles really looking to get on the board. Here's the pitch. And a good fly ball under right field. And the runners are going to go, and it's caught. A good catch by Sunderland. And it looked like it might go over his head.
Yeah, I thought he was burned.
Pulled an AT&T and reached out and caught that one. And so a great job by Dane Sunderland and Christensen to get out of that inning. 2 left stranded by the Eagles, and we're going to go for a break as we've gone through 2 innings. We'll be back here at the Eagles Nest. You're watching Saturday High School Baseball on NETSN. Don't go anywhere. Sorry about that. I didn't get back on time. We had a first pitch, first out, and I was trying to get some things going here and didn't push the button. I apologize. So on that one, pardon me, who's up to bat on that, Jason?
That was Sunderland.
Okay.
Routine grounder to Whitus at short. Made throw over to to Barry. No? Who is that? I'm off.
That's Smith.
Smith, my bad. Cannon Smith made a great stretch, great play.
So that was a quick first pitch, first out situation. Kind of real quick on us there. The quick turnaround kind of threw me for a loop. I was working on something else there. Good hit straight up the middle. And that's going to be over to first in time. A great job by Cody Hines to get it over to Cannon Smith and get out number 2.
Yeah, dove to his non-glove side, had to come up, set, make the quick throw, beat it by a step still. Just a great defensive play by Cody Hines.
And a lot of athleticism on that one.
Back to the top of the order now with the catcher.
Brady Owen. And we'll see how Brady does. Outside for a ball. Still got a lot of pop. Working on that outside corner a lot. I noticed a lot of these Tatum pitchers do that. They like to work that outside corner. Get those batters to try to go fishing.
Yeah, they do. And if you got an umpire that'll call that outside, they're going to be deadly with it.
Well, speaking of outside, he brought it back in and caught that inside corner for that pitch. Pitch by Tatum. And that one bounced off the plate.
That one caught that front edge and just
took a little flight.
You know, that second pitch was the first strike that Brady Owen has seen. He 4-pitch walk his first at bat. So
good pitch, hit that outside corner,
and that's the second one.
Yeah, that was numbers high. That was a perfectly executed and placed pitch by Caden Tatum. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be low. And he always tries. I think he's just trying to give a little change up, and he just can't get that spin on it. So full count now to Brady Owen. Time is called behind the plate. Again, if you're watching, we appreciate you. Go ahead and chat with us a little bit as Tatum does a nice little curveball, but it's just a little bit high, I think around the chin. And that'll put one of the Blue Devils.
Trey Dennywell coming back out to run for the catcher, Brady Owen, after he drew that walk.
And that's a 2-out, what we call a 2-out special. The catcher didn't have to run. He goes in and gets all his equipment on as Logan Baker comes up to the box.
Yeah, last at bat he had that sack bunt. Don't think he'll be worried about that this time.
And a good frame job by Jackson Prince to bring that down. He's probably one of the best I've seen in high school baseball. And he'll bring a ball that is a ball, pop that sucker right over the plate, and that umpire will call it a strike. Does a good job, good quickness on that. Tried to do it again. Umpire didn't fall for it.
He's definitely one of the better ones at doing that. It's an art.
It is, very much.
If you do it too much, the umpire won't call one that's borderline anyway. But just that subtle movement.
That's a bit outside. So Baker steps into the box. Caden Tatum looking in. Checks the runner over at first from the stretch. It's going to be a fly ball. Out of play over in the right. Behind the Blue Devil dugout. So we'll reset everything. Baker will head back and step in. And field in a little bit. And a throw over to first, make sure the runner stays where he is. That's Trey Pennywell. Isn't that correct, number 13? Is that Pennywell?
I think it's Dennywell.
Is it Dennywell?
I'll
Anyway,
double check
Trey.
it. One of us is wrong.
It's a swung on and missed, and a strikeout. Goes the Blue Devils. And a good song. So while we take you to commercial, we're going to jam it out here at the Eagles Nest. Excuse me. We'll be right back. No score still here. So we're going to head to the bottom of the third and see what the Tatum Eagles can do at the plate. We'll be right back. You're watching Saturday Day Baseball on NETSN. And we are now into the bottom of the third. Thanks for sticking around with us. Got a lot of good baseball still ahead. Down to at the bottom of the lineup for the Eagles, Cannon Smith. Heck of a name there for a baseball player. And he'll step in. Christensen is ready to rock. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be high, right around the nose.
So, yeah, just talking about names, I will say this. We did confirm it is Pennywell, the courtesy runner that was for the catcher for Central Heights. So, apologize to Mr. Pennywell for mispronouncing his name. Keith was right.
Who was right?
Keith was right.
I don't ever hear that at home. My wife never says that, so it's kind of nice to hear.
I get it.
So 1-1 the count after that ball. And Smith waiting on a pitch. Christensen in the windup. Little carry. He tried to get a breaking ball on that. You can tell, and just carried a little high over the head of Cannon Smith. And makes it 2 balls and 1 strike. Still no score here. And the Eagles going to try to change that, hopefully this bottom half. And that's a hit foul ball. Coach over on the third baseline trying to
he was trying to buy
that.
He was trying to buy a fair ball.
Yeah, he was trying to frame it, so to speak. Didn't quite happen. Good try, Coach. Another one's going to be fouled off.
Smith is battling at this point. I really think he's standing on second at least. If that ball is fair, he's standing on second.
Oh yeah, that was right down the line. Had one last night just like that. It wasn't from Smith, but one of the Eagles. He 9-ironed that. He pulled out the pitching wedge for that one.
I love it.
He worked hard
to
fight that one off.
So far for the day, he is my favorite player just because of that right there. That is battling.
Well, it is Masters time, so he's playing a little. He must be watching the Masters, getting a little golf training going. Here's a pitch by Christensen. He swung on and misses. That was a beautiful off-speed pitch that struck him out for out number 1 here in the bottom of the third.
Still a great at-bat, though.
Oh, yeah. Back to the top of the lineup for the Eagles. Grant Adcock will come in, try to get on base.
Had that single the first inning, hard ground ball up the middle. I'm sure he'd love a repeat of that, or better.
Well, then he hit into that. He got hit in. He didn't get hit into it, but had that double play after that. When he part of that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So he didn't really get to go anywhere after that. So hoping to get on base and get a little further. 1-0. Christensen with the pitch. Down low. Around shin high. So 2 balls and no strikes. Adcock very good at forcing the pitchers to kind of pitch it to where he wants it most of the time. That's going to be high. So this is a kind of a hitter's pitch here. I wouldn't be surprised if Adcock just, if it's anywhere close, tries to unload on it.
One of those daddy hacks.
Oh, he did a little hippity hop up. And he'll take a stroll over to first base. As Cooper Whitus will head to the box and try not to hit into a double play this time.
Yeah, last time he didn't. He got, I want to say Adcock got caught stealing that first time.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one who's keeping the books here, buddy.
Well, you know, I try not to mark down the horrible things.
I talk you right. That's the way it works. And let me tell you, Brady Owen not too bad on the frame job, as that one was a called strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, and Whitus isn't doing he's not doing the square in the bunt. He's settling in, wanting his at bat this time. So,
however, Garner Rodriguez is not really going to believe him very much, as he's on the infield grass over on third base side.
Yeah, Whitus he'll do a little bit of everything. He's just a solid athlete. He has that capability easily of squaring.
Runner goes, and a hit. It's a hit and a run. So a good play. I think the hit was on that.
Yeah, nice hit and run. Looked really good. Initially, Adcock rounded hard. Left fielder had it lined up, so Adcock slowed down, and then he kind of bobbled. Some groans from the fans. I think they wanted to see him standing on third, but.
Well, and it was a good job to hold him up. You kind of was in a position not to get there, as the catcher, Jackson Prince, will step in. Hope to bring somebody home, as you got a runner on second in scoring position and a runner on first. 2 speedsters. Here's the pitch by Christensen over there. Good pitch down the middle for a strike. And Prince going to step in. I'm still, and I say this every time, and I know people are tired of it, but astonished how close and how much they just crowd that plate. Another pitch. trying to catch that outside corner, and Brady Owen did a good job of trying to get it framed, but just, I guess, too far to the outside for Blues' comfort.
Yeah, there are some umpires that if you drag it a little too much, their way of thought, their way of thinking is, you drug it, you knew it wasn't a strike too.
Right, because they know. Christensen checking the runner on second. And Cock not going anywhere. Here's the pitch. That's a low. Almost, what Jeremy called it, a worm burner of a pitch last night. And we do appreciate you for watching. Go ahead and chat with us. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. We'd love to hear from you. It is a Saturday afternoon, so it's kind of weird time for baseball, but we're glad that you are watching with us. Here's the pitch. And another low one, little round shin. So 3-1, a big pitch for Christensen.
Yeah, and if you're Tatum, that run at second base, I mean, you got, who's that, Adcock over at second? With that speed, I mean, you got less than 2 outs. You want that run. And
what do you do if you're at the plate? It's 3-1. Do you watch it go by for a possible bases loaded situation? Well, yeah. Oh, no. He did watch it, but the pitch was on the outside corner.
Well, and I mean, he's going to watch that one because there's not much he could do with that one. He might have been able to take that to Oppo to right field for a single, but there really wasn't in his wheelhouse. You want one on the tee. If you're 3-1, you want one on the tee at that point.
Now, anything close, you swing away.
Yes. Anything that could be called a strike,
right?
You're gonna hit it.
And he does, and that one's going to go into center field, and a run does come across as he kind of somersaults into sorry, that was kind of funny. And through, run does come across, however, on an RBI base hit.
So that walk for Adcock comes back to bite Christensen and the Blue Devils.
Now it puts the designated hitter Colt Bullard into the box with just 1 out, 2 on. So he's Bullard hoping to bring another run home. As now we've got a score on the board for the Eagles. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped away.
And you were wondering how long it was going to take for either of these high-powered offenses to get started. Tatum historically adjusts really well their second time through the lineup. So I'm not going to say this was unexpected, but definitely something good to see for them.
Well, they're getting that timing down. That's usually when it happens. Outside for a ball. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, you got that timing component to it, and you also you've got to figure out what the umpire strike zone is, because
and the consistency is there, so that's good. When you have an umpire that's not consistent, that's when you have the trouble. But this umpire is fairly consistent with his calls, so that actually helps. That's going to bounce in, and the runners are going to advance. And so now you have 2 in scoring position.
Christensen wants that one back for sure.
Yeah. Got to get out of your head, though.
Yeah, he bounced that one, and I'm sure he's kicking himself a little bit. So now you got 2 in scoring position with less than 2 outs.
Here's the pitch. That's in there for a strike, so a good comeback pitch.
And if you're Christensen, you want the strikeout this time.
Yeah.
It's a tough bill right there with Colt Bullard at the plate, but you do want the strikeout.
Here's the pitch by Christensen. Beautiful just slider to get Bullard chasing. That was a beautiful pitch. And gets the strikeout for out number 2.
So he got exactly what he wanted. Now you got 2 outs, 2 in scoring position, but if you can get Hines to go into something on the ground, hopefully to an infielder, you can get out of this with limited damage.
And we got a chat. We got Johnny Green watching from Nacogdoches, and he says we got two good teams here, and I agree. We appreciate you watching, Johnny, and I agree with you. We got two great teams here, and a good game going as Christensen brings that one in, and it's swung on by Cody Hines for a strike. As you know, Central Heights is from right outside of Nacogdoches. Used to drive by there on my way to college when I would drive home and drive back when I went to SFA. Nice small little community right outside. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be fouled back out of play into over by the concession stand.
Got the children running for it. I don't know if they do it here or not. You know, I remember when you used to get bubble gum or a snow
Jeremy
cone.
was talking about that last night. Here's the pitch, and that's a little high, around chin high, so that'll be in there for a ball. So 1-2 the count. And yeah, thank you, Johnny. We appreciate you watching, and we appreciate everybody watching. Go ahead and chat with us, like Johnny is. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. Time is called at the plate. Got 2 on, 2 out. And that's going to be low and outside for a ball. So here comes the deuce is wild, as they say. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 out for Cody Hines, and his number is 22. So we got all the 2s going. Here's the pitch. High and outside, and a full count now. So a big pitch by Christensen and a big at-bat opportunity for Cody Hines.
And that's not a bad location for that pitch because he's established his off speed. I mean, you know, Hines definitely had to worry, was that going to drop or is it going to stay up? And he read it perfectly.
And, you know, with the tension the way it is, he could have easily just chased it. That one's going to be in there for a strike. Hits that corner, and a strikeout, and a great job by Christensen to leave 2 stranded. It could have been worse, but he does a great job of pitching out of the jam and ends up with just 1 run coming across for the Eagles. So we're going to head to the top of the 4th. We're through 3 here in Tatum. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Saturday Baseball on NETSN. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you watching and being with us. Got a great game going on here. A good battle here between Central Heights Blue Devils and the Tatum Eagles. Tatum getting on the board for the first time in the bottom of the 3rd just now, leaving 2 stranded as Carter Christensen and the defense keeping things at bay, keeping the Eagles there, and did a good job on that.
Great job. Limiting Tatum to 1 run. You know, they did break the ice on the board, though, so Tatum right now wants to hold that 1-run lead.
And we talked earlier, you know, Central Heights is not a slouch. I mean, these aren't 2 teams that are just, you know, Tatum didn't pick, you know, a podunk, horrible team. Central Heights is a great team as Garner Rodriguez steps in and swings through. Umpire said he did go through, so that's going to be a strike 1. And so this Central Heights Blue Devils team is a fairly good team, 15-4, 6-1 in district. They're sitting atop their district.
Yeah, they definitely have a very well-established program. Just a great organization. As
that one's going to stay fair, and he's going to turn around and go for second, and the slide is in, and he's safe. A great hit by Garner Rodriguez. as he puts that literally right down the left field line. And does a fantastic job of getting on the board.
So this is,
or on the pond, so to speak, on base.
This is where Central Heights has to answer. You know, Tatum came in, broke through, got that one score, started off with a leadoff double. So now your 4-hole, your DH, Luke Williamson's going to come in and try to move that runner over.
And he does. He squares down, and you got to play it third.
Oh.
And gets him out. Not how you want to do it, but a good heads-up play from Caden Tatum to jump off the mound and go there. And Tristan Berry making the tag for out number 1.
Yeah, and coach over at third base is kind of looking, really you want to make that third baseman or make the pitcher commit one way or the other before you just run into that, and that's what he did. He ran right into that tag. Just so he looks a little frustrated over there at third, but you know, it's baseball, and these are still kids. So, you know, they're teenagers at that. So anybody with teenagers knows teenagers tend to do stupid things at times.
That one's fouled off into the bullpen area of Tatum, and not sure who it hit. It may have hit somebody. Going back to the chat, Johnny Green, yeah, I hope Central Heights wins. And I'm sure that a lot of Nacogdoches fans and Central Heights fans wishes they do as well.
They definitely have the team to be able to do it. It's just a great organization.
And somebody from Chapel Hill area, we don't know who that is. You know, fly ball, that's going to be in a right field, kind of shallow right field. And Aiden Courtney coming in to make that play. And out number 2. Does a great job. Good job to call Cody Hines off. Both of them had a play, but it's easier to run forward than it is backwards, and Cody probably would have lost that ball anyway. So still a runner on first, and going to bring in Trapper Murdoch. I was talking earlier. I love that name. We were talking. When I first read that name, I said, that's an awesome name.
Yep, he wins the nomination for best name.
And he's a shortstop, too, and just a great name. Runner goes. And he's going to be in there as the throw is a little off by Prince. But I said, you know, his parents had to watch MASH growing up.
You would think so. I mean, now it could be the off thing, Trapper, you know, like a hunter, but
a good hit
right at Whitus.
And Whitus just stands there and takes it. And gets the out number 3. Didn't even give me a chance to push a strike or a ball. Dang, Whitus got to give me an opportunity. But, yeah, we're sitting here talking about names. Come on, guys. Anyway, that was a great way to get out of the inning and keeps a guy stranded in scoring position. So the defense of the Eagles keep the Blue Devils off the board. And we're heading to the bottom of the 4th here in Tatum. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back from the Eagles' Nest. Don't go anywhere. And we are back boot scooting and boogieing here at Eagles Nest in Tatum. That's going to bring Dustin Hennigan to the plate. Got, like we said, somebody from Chapel Hill. We don't know who that guy is. He said we're doing great. Feels like he's watching ESPN. Well, we appreciate that. Here comes the pitch. Christensen still on the mound, and rightfully so for Central Heights. He's doing a great job. Don't let that one run fool you. He's really doing a fantastic job on the mound for the Blue Devils. Here comes pitch. Is going to be high. So 2-0. And Hennigan waits on the pitch. And it's going to be just a little inside. So Christensen finds himself a little behind there.
And it looked like he just didn't quite finish. He didn't quite finish that breaking pitch, so it just kind of hung inside on him.
Yeah. And Johnny Green, I agree. Johnny Green says good defense on both sides. And I do agree. It is a good defensive battle by both teams. And I love to see that. I you know, as much as I love to see hits and runs, I love to see the defense. There's a good hit, and it's going to go down the left field line, and they're going to call that fair.
Oh, yeah, it was fair. It hopped the bag, landed just inside the chalk or lack thereof on the outfield side of third base. Great piece of hitting, great running. Pretty close play at second, not super close, but Tatum's got something working right now with the leadoff double.
And brings up big hitter Tristan Berry, who got on base last time. I think he got a single.
Yeah, he had a line drive up the middle, just a little to left center.
It's a runner in scoring position as Hennigan standing at second. Here's the pitch. It's going to be high. And Johnny Green, we appreciate the comment on love seeing different views of the game. We love being able to bring that to you. Got here in enough time to be able to put up the cameras and get enough cameras out to get these views for you. Here's the pitch.
See, maybe we can find some sponsors and get the blimp out next.
The NETSN. I'm actually shooting. Jeremy and I were talking last night. I'm actually shooting for a NETSN bus, a Winnebago. We can bring for days like this. When I was here last night, I could just park it over there and just sleep and be here in the morning. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll try. Good swing and a miss. That was a good cut by Berry.
Great competitive pitch. He kind of set that up with his off speed, so Berry kind of almost went into defense mode. Still up in the count, but great job by Christensen.
2-1 in the count to Berry. Christensen set from the stretch. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, Berry wasn't chasing that one. He wasn't going to go up there again.
Yes, the NETSN blimp. High above the skies. Start working on that, boss man. Back at the NETSN studios. He's the guy with all the money. Christensen set in the stretch, checks the runner and kind of steps back off. He didn't like what he saw Hennigan doing, I guess. And Berry will step in again.
3-1 count, so it's definitely going to be on a tee if Berry's swinging.
Here's the pitch. And that's going to be fouled off behind, out of play.
And that was in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he get a little bit late on the swing. And he pushed that one off into the parking lot region. It was over the fence, just the wrong one. Trying again. Runner on second. Hennigan looking to come home as we now have a full count. Nobody out. And that's a hit. And that is in time. Nobody's going to advance.
Now batting number 16, Tatum.
So that's going to bring an out number 1. And now Caden Tatum is going to step into the box.
And he had that drive of a baseball deep right center that I think it's what Damian Sunderland chased down in the gap to end the inning, or was it the end inning? Yeah, it was the end of the inning in the second inning. Just a great play, great piece of hitting too.
Tatum, left-handed, hoping to get a good hit, and it's going to be a high fly ball right in the outfield grass, just enough for Bo Bryant to step back. Takes about 10 feet, about 10 feet into the outfield grass and makes the out. Cannon Smith is going to step in as we have 1 on, 2 outs.
And this would be a big victory for Christensen if he can get out after the leadoff double, get out of here with no damage.
Here's the pitch by Christensen, little off-speed pitch, kind of hangs inside just a little bit longer than he wanted. It had the curve, but I think he released it a little bit too early on the throw. He sets up. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, 1 on. And that's going to be outside. A great job by Owen to stop it from going to the backstop there and allowing Hennigan to get to third. Two 2-0 the count. Eagles lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. A big defensive matchup here in Tatum. Swung on and missed for a strike. And he gets a big cut by Smith. He was kind of aiming. He wanted that one.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to pull that down into the left field corner.
And I tell you, I have to give a little bit of a props to Carter Christensen. His poise in bad situations is admirable.
Yeah, he's definitely held his composure. He's had runners in scoring position less than 2 outs quite a few times today, and aside from the 1 run so far, I mean he's really held it together really well.
And the Tatum batters have not gone easy on him, but the people behind him, his team, has helped him a lot. There's a fly ball into left field, and left fielder, that's Logan Baker, makes the call off by Murdoch. Trapper Murdoch tries to go, and that's going to be out number 3. And so once again, runners stranded for the Eagles. And Christensen does a good job of getting out of that one. So we're through 4 here at the Eagles Nest in Tatum, and we're going to come back in just a minute for the top of the 5th. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a second. About to get things started here in the top of the 5th, and got a little Pat Green. I remember old Pat Green, speaking of Nacogdoches here. I've seen him in concert a couple of times, and I first saw him in concert at Bullfrogs in Nacogdoches.
Been there.
Little small place. Before he became really big, he was big in the Texas country music scene, and I saw him in a little small place called Bullfrogs. Back in the 1900s. Back in the good old days. Top of the 5th, and Damian Ramirez for the Blue Devils is coming in. And that's going to go straight up, and a good job by Caden Tatum to get it. Kind of threw a little high there, as Cannon Smith had to kind of get on his tiptoes to catch it, but he does get an out. Yeah,
he came off the bag just a little when he fielded it too. I saw the field umpire looking at it, but Smith smartly and just instinctively just rocked it back, got his foot down on it.
Little sinker there by Tatum. in there for a ball as Dane Sunderland is up to bat. Here's the pitch. That's going to be inside, catch the corner for a strike. So 1-1 to Sunderland. As we've already got one out here in the top of the fifth. It's a one pitch, one swing, one out situation. And that's going to be a hit straight into center field and a diving catch by Grant Adcock. Fantastic play. Beautiful jump. And I think I hurt myself just watching that play.
Yeah, I pulled something, that's
yeah,
for sure.
I need to go to the locker room and get an ice bath or something watching that one. Dang.
That's a dangerous play to make, too. I mean, if he catches it, it's great. If he misses that, that's going to the wall with a one-run lead, but that's confidence also. So.
Right. So now 2 down for Cade Masora. That's going to be inside for a ball. That's right down the middle. I don't know what Masora was waiting on, but couldn't ask for a better pitch. That's going to be low and outside. So 2 balls and 1 strike for Masora. Brady Owen, depending on how this at-bat goes, he's on deck. That's going to go straight back to Tatum. And Tatum over, little soft throw. You got to be careful with those. Those could be the most dangerous. But it goes over to Smith and out number 3. 3 up, 3 down, and Take Me Out to the Ball Game is being played. And with that, we're going to be right back for the bottom of the 5th. Don't go anywhere. You're watching high school baseball on a beautiful, sunny, cloudless Saturday here in Tatum. We'll be right back. So back at the top of the order, Grant Adcock is going to step in, number 2. Your center fielder made that fantastic catch earlier.
Responsible for the only run of the game so far.
If we had an ESPN sound, and I'm not going to do it, but if we had a band, we'd get it playing here. He's going to swing and foul that one back for a strike. And it is actually it's a little windy, but beautiful, beautiful Saturday here.
And it's really not that windy. It's just where we are, we seem to be right in the wind path. It's just
every time
it just tunnels to where we are.
Everywhere I go, every time we do something, it's got wind. And that's a beautiful pitch and a beautiful hit.
Oh.
And they just missed communication in the outfield. And I don't know really what happened there. Murdoch, Baker, and Masora, all 3 were converging on the ball. And I don't know what you call that. I don't know how you're going to make that call as a bookkeeper, Mr. Bookkeeper.
I'm actually going to just give that one a single and be done with it.
Yeah.
Ideally, if you look at it, center fielder has the ultimate authority in that ball.
Yeah.
He should be calling everybody off.
Well, Trapper.
But that was a long run.
It was.
So
we got a runner on first, nobody out, and, Cooper Whitus just does a sacrifice bunt over to first and advances the runner to second as Adcock is now in scoring position.
So Whitus did his job on that one. That was all you ask him to do is just move that runner.
And does it well. Jackson Prince now will head to the box and see what he does. As Christensen now once again finds himself with a runner in scoring position. However, He has done very well this game to get himself out of that position and only allow one run in the ballgame. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed.
You know, I would say that overall it's the bend and not break mentality, but he hasn't even really bent that much.
No.
Great pitching by Christensen this game. And obviously for Tatum on the other side, for Tatum, Caden Tatum for the Tatum Eagles.
And Christensen making sure that Adcock stays, and that's going to go over to left field side. And it'll advance the runner, but a good job by Trapper Murdoch, the shortstop, to get that one, check the runner. He's going to be at third anyway. And go ahead and fire the ball across to Damian Ramirez to get out number 2. So Colt Bullard is going to step in with 1 on and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Catch that outside corner for a strike. Wasn't really expecting that one, I don't think, on that first pitch, but it was a beautiful pitch by Christensen nonetheless.
And Bullard wants something a little more over the plate.
Like that one, but he fouls that one off. Out of play on the left-hand side, left field side. And Adcock down at third base.
So now he can't quite be as picky.
No, a little bit in the hole there. He's got to make sure this is right where he wants it, and does a good job of holding off. You know, one thing about Bullard, he's very smart when it comes to pitching, but he does like to go after pitches because he's got a good swing, got a good cut. He just likes to go after him when he sees him.
Yeah, because usually he can do something with it.
And a good little cut. That's a little cut fastball there, and it just kind of goes a little bit too far on him. So 2-2 now the count.
And if I had to say one thing about Bullard, one thing that, you know, any power hitter, they usually hate those outside balls.
Mm-hmm.
And with 2 strikes, you know, you've got to protect that. He ideally wants something middle in, but he's got the power to where he could take that outside one a long way also.
And that was a little inside. It was perfect position, but he's a little bit behind on it. And I think he was expecting another little off-speed pitch to come across. And so he waited a little bit too long on the swing. So we'll see what he does here as he's still 2-2 with 2 outs. And that was high, a little high, says Blue. So
Yeah,
now he finds himself in a full count.
It was up for this umpire. It was up. He's been pretty consistent on that top side.
And granted, you know, Cole Bullard is not a tiny, short kid. He's kind of a large guy. He'll take that one. Kind of dug that one out of the dirt. Ball kind of bounces back, and Bullard helps the umpire get the ball back.
And the one thing I like Christensen, what he's doing is it seems like he's coming inside more with his off speed. So Bullard is a little out in front of those, pulling them foul. I want to see if he's going to throw a fastball to the outside corner this time.
Here's the pitch. That's going to be low and outside, and that's going to put Bullard on first base. So with runners at the corners and 2 outs,
Now batting number 22,
it'll bring up Cody Hines. And Cody's got some speed on him, but he's also got a good little hit, and he could pull that ball down that right field line if you're not careful, which could really cause some damage. So we got some conversation going on at the mound.
They're probably just checking to see if anybody saw a good restaurant on the way into town. And sometimes, actually, that is the conversation. You go out there just to get their mind.
Well, you got to calm them down a little bit. Get them, ask them, how chemistry class is going or something like that. which that would scare me even more. So.
You know, these are teenage boys. They're probably talking about the girl that they saw walking down the hallway last week.
Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be bounced right behind the plate for a ball.
Great block by
Owen.
He's
done that quite a few times this game where he's, sacrificed a little bit and stopped that ball and kept the runner from advancing. And that's going to be a hit into center field, and Masora, it doesn't even move, just goes straight to him for out number 3.
So once again, Christensen works himself out of trouble.
Yeah, he's gotten used to that. So we're going to head to the top of the 6th. Kind of slow going, still 1-0. As Tatum still holds the lead, but it's nothing to frown at. They got to get something going here offensively, and so does Central Heights. So we'll be right back. You're watching NETSN. Back here at the Eagles Nest in Central Heights now, here in the top of the 6th. Running out of time to make some things happen, but not out of the realm of possibility as back to the top of the lineup, Brady Owen, the catcher, as he's going to take a swing. They're going to appeal down to the first base umpire, and he says no, so it'll be a ball.
Both teams' starters still on the mound.
That's right down the middle for a strike. A great pitch. Still has that pop, excuse me, on that ball. Pitch is going to be fouled off and kind of bounces off the leg of Owen.
Catchers are usually pretty hard to strike out because they know the umpire strike zone. They usually have great at-bats because they're used to seeing that ball come in every time.
Yeah, they know, and they know what to look for. They know what the pitches look like coming out of the pitcher's hand. That's going to go over to the right-hand side. A good hit by Hines. And Hines over to Smith for out number 1. Good play defensively behind Tatum. We've had really good, and one of our viewers, Johnny Green, said it earlier, a good defensive game, good defenses on both sides as Logan Baker steps in for the Blue Devils. And it's just been one of those games. That's going to go straight up the middle. And once again, Hines over to Smith for out number 2. So quickly, 2 down for Central Heights.
I'm going to get me a stamp for this inning. This just says 4-3. Hines to Smith, Hines to Smith.
And here comes Garner Rodriguez, very tall human being.
Yeah, he's reached both times. First at bat, he had that fly ball, the E9, to right field, but the second one was that double down the left field line. So
looks like it takes him about 3 steps to get to first.
His legs are long.
That's going to bounce in for a ball.
I think his legs are longer than I am tall.
Yes, he has that tallness factor. Here comes the pitch, and that's going to be a little low. So Garner Rodriguez now ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. It's going to be a fly ball into center field. Adcock just
He just missed that one.
Yeah, he just got underneath it just too much. And that's going to be 3 up, 3 down, go the Blue Devils. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching high school baseball on your beautiful Saturday on NETSN. We are rocking it out here at the Eagles Nest in Tatum. And the score is still 1-0 as the Eagles have the lead and have had the lead since the bottom of the 3rd, but have goose eggs on both sides since then. And Central Heights is trying to do something, but they've gone 3 up, 3 down the last 2 innings. And now here come the Eagles trying to get in, and Carter Christensen has just been a thorn in their side on that. They've left some guys stranded the last, 4 innings on base, in scoring position, that is. And Carter Christensen and the defense of the Blue Devils just aren't being conducive to what Tatum wants and getting some scores. And Hennigan is hoping to get things started here as he fouls that one off on the left-hand side and gets a strike.
And it doesn't look like he's lost much on the mound. He's been pretty consistent mixing his pitches up, so you really can't tell if he's getting tired or not. But so far, he looks really good.
That's a great pitch. A little bit high, I thought, but it might have dropped a little more than what I can tell from this angle. But nonetheless, it's a strike on Hennigan, and he finds himself behind in the count, 0-2. Here's the pitch. That's inside for a ball. Good job to hold off. That would have been a stinger on the hands if he'd have swung for that one.
On that previous pitch, I'll say probably from my view, that was one the umpire missed.
Mm-hmm.
He's consistently not called that one, but that was the first time I've seen him call it.
And that was just a bit outside. I think that was more in the batter's box on the left-hand side.
Catcher's asking about it now.
Yeah.
And that may be maybe that payback for that previous strike call.
Here's the pitch by Christensen, another one in the same spot on the outside. So we have a full count. A good job by Hennigan to really found himself down in the count 0-2 and now has really worked himself back to a full count. So a good job by Hennigan. And he fights that one off. Really could have.
I think that was going to hit him.
That was going to hit him, and he that was a reflex action. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he was just a fight or flight.
I think he hit it because I think he thinks he can take one about 420 right now. You know, he had that great dive and play a couple of innings ago.
It's going to be straight up the middle. And a good little turnaround play by Trapper Murdoch, trying to make the ESPN's top 10 and gets an out. Beautifully little turnaround throw.
There's a lot. I mean, Hennigan had that great play in center field. You got Trapper there with the great play at short. I know we come do Tatum all the time, but I'm going to have to give it to Trapper just on the name alone.
Yeah, that's pretty
but
good.
Both of them just top-notch plays.
We do have Cannon Smith, but this is Tristan Berry at the plate. That's going to be low. Cannon Smith has a pretty cool name. I like that name.
Yes, Cannon Smith.
Yeah, if you have a name Cannon, you have to be a baseball player and a pitcher. That's just me. I don't know if Cannon is a pitcher, but, man, you got to have that.
2 balls now. Both of them down and away, so they're working down and away to Berry.
Well, and that's what they do. I've noticed that a lot of pitchers do that with Berry. Is they try to keep it away from him as best, and pretty smart. And that's going to be down and away. I thought that was more a little in the strike zone.
Well, if you look at where Berry sets up, he's not like Tatum hitters typically set up. He is now. He's a little closer to the plate this time than he was the last time.
And that's going to be in there on the strike. And Berry a little confused. I'm a little confused. I thought that was a little low. And Caden Tatum is on deck. So 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Another strike. And now he puts himself back in a full count situation. And Christensen fall back on that one. You had Hennigan fight back the last time, and now Christensen fights back and gets a full count. And that's going to be a good hit into right field and drop right in front of Sunderland, and a base hit by Barry.
Good piece of hitting by Barry. Couple of pitches that he didn't agree with. Felt like he should have already been on base. But, hey, this one right here helps your batting average. Not that he needs much help,
right,
but it does help your batting average where the walk doesn't do anything for you.
So up next is Caden Tatum. Cannon Smith on deck. And here comes the pitch, and that's going to be a high fly ball behind. Yeah, that's out of play, almost trying to hit the fans. Yesterday we were here, and I was telling you earlier, but we had some girls that were over in the stands right in the way. They were on their phones, and a ball just like that came out and hit probably within about maybe a foot right next to him. It scared the heck out of him. And I was like, yep, that's why you don't get on your phone. That's going to be out into the left field, kind of behind third base actually, and a good catch by Garner Rodriguez to get out number 2.
Brings up Cannon Smith. This is where you really need the stadium announcer for every call. You need somebody to just come out there, Cannon Smith, something. I'm not that good at it, but.
So Christensen looks in, checks the runner over first, and then brings it home. And that's a fly ball on the right-hand side. That's going to be out of play.
Well, and once again, Christensen, handling traffic on the bases. He's had traffic just about every inning, but he's managed to come out of here with only 1 run allowed.
Smith steps in. Christensen checks the runner and brings it home on the outside for a ball. 1-1 now the count. Tried to bring that slider again, but just released it too late that time. He released it early one time, and it came inside. Released it late. Just if he finds that pitch, that thing's going to be dangerous because it's a beautiful slider.
As much as he's thrown it, I guarantee you he normally has it.
Yeah.
This may just be a little off today.
And that's a fastball right on the corner, and swing and a miss for strike 2. So 1-2 now the count to Cannon Smith. 2 outs, 1 on, and we're at the bottom of the 6th. In the stretch, here's the pitch. And a good pitch, but a little high.
It's a good waist pitch. It was a competitive pitch.
Just trying to make him kind of go upstairs on him. Count even at 2. Here's the pitch.
Oh,
And made him swing on it. And a strikeout for out number 3. All right, we've gone through 6. That brings us to the 7th inning, a big inning for both teams, and we'll see what pans out. Do not go anywhere. We got a great one here in Tatum. We'll be right back on NETSN. And we are back. It's the top of the 7th inning. It's a big inning, top of the inning for the Central Heights Blue Devils, because if they do not get a run, the game is over.
They do not get a run, the game is over.
Yeah, so they've got a big thing to do here. They got to get it going, and Luke Williamson, the designated hitter, is going to start things off. Caden Tatum still on the mound, and comes out fierce with a fastball right down the pipe for strike one.
You know, and Tatum has held them to 3. Central Heights has left 3 runners on base.
And that one goes straight over to Cannon Smith, and he just kind of picks it up and strolls over to first for out number 1.
Yeah, like I was saying, Tatum has held them to only 3 base runners left on base, whereas when we're talking about Christensen, the pitcher for Central Heights, Tatum has left 8 runners on base.
Wow.
So he, like I said, he has dealt with traffic every inning with the exception of the first inning, and has done an excellent job.
That one's going to be hit over to Whitus. Whitus back to Smith for out number 2. So just like that, we're down to 1 out. Trapper Murdoch.
And it's Trapper.
Is going to come in. And down to what could be the final out of the ball game, depending on how it goes. There's a lot of big ifs. I've seen things happen. Been a part of things, so we'll see what happens. Here's the pitch. That's going to be high for a ball. Got a good crowd here for a Saturday in a good sunny. It's not very hot. That one's going to good little back curve across the outside corner. That one came in. That was a
beautiful backdoor curveball.
Woo. Here's the pitch by Caden, and that one's going to go over to Barry at third. Barry shot across the field to Smith, and 1, 2, 3 go the Blue Devils, and that's going to be the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. So we've gone through all of that, and only 1 run to show through the whole game, and Tatum takes the win. So they win last night, and they win tonight. So good little morale boosters going in to the final week, or not the final week, going into next week against White Oak. Must-win situations for them in their playoff hopeful. I mean, they've got to get it. They got to win those games, but they're also looking for a district championship in all that.
It's must win for the district championship. I think Tatum and White Oak both are pretty secure in their playoff hunt, but you're looking at seeding at this point, and as you'd rather go in as a higher seed to get that lower seed for that first round, to kind of get your little warm-up in for that. But both teams, this is one of the matchups I've been looking forward to all season.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that you want to make sure gets in, and then they're ready for all in all for the end of the season. You don't want to blow it up. You don't want to go in and just drop it.
You don't want to implode. They, like I said, they got hit in the mouth by Troop pretty good, but they need to rebound, come out against White Oak. I believe Jaron will be on the call for that. Somebody will, I'm sure, but it's going to be definitely must-watch coverage, because that's going to be a game with – those 2 games will be with big playoff implications.
Well, we appreciate everybody watching. We want to thank you for being a part of our broadcast here on this Saturday. And we know that you could be doing other things on a Saturday, but we always love having all of our viewers with us. And until next time, I'm Keith. I got Jason with me. From all of us here at NETSN, we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the flip side. Have a good one.